Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating story. We're looking at the career and, I guess, the public persona of Candace Owens.
Yeah, it's quite a journey. And we're doing this deep dive using a very specific source, a YouTube video transcript.
Right, and this source offers a pretty critical take, doesn't it? It focuses on her rise, sure, but also digs into her alleged relationships within conservative media.
Exactly. It's a very pointed perspective. So our mission today is really to pull out the key claims from this narrative.
We want to look at the alleged ideological shift, how her career supposedly progressed, the dynamics of her alliances. Basically, give you the rundown according to the source so you're informed about its particular view.
Makes sense. Let's get into it.
So where does this source start the story? Because it's maybe not where people expect.
No, definitely not. The source claims pretty strongly that she began her public life as a lefty.
A lefty? Really?
Yeah, it even mentions her being aligned, supposedly, with figures like Cornel West at one point, which is, quite a contrast to her image now.
Okay, wow. But there was something even earlier, right? This platform she co-founded.
That's right. The source talks about socialautopsy.com, described as this early idea for a search database.
A database for what, exactly?
Well, the idea was to compile people's digital footprint, crawl Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and create profiles specifically of people accused of using hate speech. So users could, run background checks on teachers, doctors, whoever.
And the source frames this how? Because hate speech can mean different things.
Well, the source specifically frames it as aiming to dox hate speech coming from the right.
Ah, okay. So exposing right-leanings considered hate.
Exactly. And the irony the source points out is huge. This platform, designed to expose people, kind of made her a target, positioning her as a supposed victim of original cancel culture.
So the tool she built backfired, in a way. Or at least that's the narrative presented.
That's the narrative. And it sets up this pivot, this alleged ideological shift.
Right. The shift. How does the source describe that transition from lefty founder of Social Autopsy to the Candace Owens more people know today?
It paints it as a move towards becoming red pill black, that term for shifting conservative, seeing things differently. She started making videos as a black conservative. And the source says these videos caught the eye of people like Watson and InfoWars.
Okay, so that's when she started gaining traction in conservative.
Seems like it. And the source uses terms like career climber, shapeshifter, even chameleon to describe this period. It really emphasizes watching out for these kinds of dramatic shifts when you're trying to figure out someone's authenticity.
Gotcha. So that transformation, according to this source, opened doors, led to key connections.
Absolutely. The narrative tracks this climb, highlighting specific people and events that supposedly boosted her career.
Like who? What are the key moments mentioned?
Well, one really personal account comes from Laura Loomer.
Ah, okay. I know that name.
Yeah, right. Loomer apparently talks about being really good friends with Candace Owens way back.
Yeah.
Before she was really ever famous.
What kind of friends?
Like dinner, sleepovers. Candace even picked her up after wisdom teeth surgery, apparently. The source uses this to show a close personal bond existed early on.
Which makes the later stuff. Well, we'll get to that. But okay, close friends, then what happens professionally?
The big turning point, according to the source, was the David Horowitz Freedom Center conference in Palm Beach.
Horowitz Freedom Center. Okay. What happened there?
That's supposedly where Charlie Kirk met her.
From Turning Point USA?
The very same. And Loomer claims she saw Kirk offer Candace a job right on the spot at Turning Point. Loomer even says she broke the news about it.
Wow. So a pivotal moment.
Definitely. And the source notes the irony again, her career taking off at a Jewish conference, given some later controversies, and claims the source mentions about her current stance towards Jewish people and her work with places like PragerU and the Daily Wire.
Interesting context. Was Turning Point the very first big platform, or was there someone else before that?
The source actually points to Gavin McInnes first.
Gavin McInnes, founder of the Proud Boys.
Yes. Described by the source as the Proud Boys founder and an OG of the MAGA movement. The claim is McInnes gave her a significant platform before Turning Point, before the Kanye tweet.
Before she was really well known.
Exactly. When, as the source puts it quite dramatically, nobody gave a damn about you, and she supposedly didn't even have enough money to get your hair straightened. McInnes is painted as this, authentic early supporter.
Okay, so McInnes, then Horowitz conference, Turning Point. And then came Kanye.
The source calls his tweet, "I love the way that Candace Owens thinks," the moment she became an overnight sensation.
That tweet definitely made waves.
Huge wave. Led to apparently over 1 million followers, a meeting with Kanye and Charlie Kirk in L.A. It was like rocket fuel, as you said.
So she achieves this massive visibility, but the source argues there's a downside to this climb, or rather a pattern.
Yes, exactly. The narrative shifts here to focus on allegations of, discarding allies, people who helped her early on.
Like Laura Loomer, going back to her account.
Precisely. Loomer's story becomes central to this part of the critique. She claims that when she, Loomer, got canceled everywhere, Candace Owens didn't do anything to help me.
Didn't help how?
Wouldn't even have her on her show, apparently.
Yo.
And Loomer adds this really specific personal detail.
What's that?
She claims Candace Owens falsely accused me of dancing for Israel in private messages. In DMs. And that, Loomer says, is what made the friendship contentious and caused it to fizzle out.
And Loomer contrasts this with other relationships.
Yeah, she mentioned staying friends with James O'Keefe, Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, Trump, and notably Gavin McInnes. She calls them loyal.
Which brings us back to McInnes. What does the source claim happened there with Candace?
Pretty stark. The source claims she essentially discarded McInnes despite his early support.
Discarded how? Just stopped associating.
Worse, according to this source. It alleges that later on, when McInnes wanted to collaborate, she tried to charge this man $15,000 in interview.
$15,000 after he supposedly gave her an early platform for free.
That's the claim. It paints a picture of someone forgetting, or maybe intentionally setting aside, those who helped her initially.
So how does the source tie all this together? What's the framework it uses to explain this alleged behavior?
It uses labels like career climber, shapeshifter, chameleon, but the main analogy it employs is that of a narcissist.
How so?
It talks about the pattern, love bombing people, initially, intense attention and affection.
Right, like the early friendship with Loomer, perhaps.
Potentially, yeah. Then extracting what they need, platform connections, whatever, and finally discarding them when there's nothing left for the person to offer.
So the argument is that these relationships are purely transactional.
According to this source, yes. It suggests no allegiance at all, just a constant pursuit of power or narcissistic supply.
And it implies some people haven't been discarded because they're still used.
Exactly. The source mentions Charlie Kirk and Kanye West as examples of people who remain useful and therefore haven't faced the same alleged discarding.
That's quite a critical character assessment.
It is. And the source doesn't stop at assessing Owens' character. It actually broadens the lens to talk about how we evaluate information and groups in general.
How does it do that?
It pivots to look at how certain groups are defined, specifically using Wikipedia as an example, which it labels, rather controversially, woke-ass Wikipedia.
Okay, strong language there. Important to stress that's the source's term and interpretation. What's the comparison it makes?
It compares the Wikipedia definition, as it summarizes them, for the Proud Boys and Antifa.
All right. What's the summary for the Proud Boys definition it highlights?
The source summarizes the definition it's critiquing as describing them as an American far-right neo-fascist militant organization that promotes and engages in political violence, a street gang, a terror group in some countries, and linked to white supremacist ideology.
Okay. And how does it summarize the Antifa definition for contrast?
It presents the Antifa definition as primarily a left-wing anti-fascist and anti-racist political movement focused on nonviolent direct action, like posters and speeches, even mentioning mostly peaceful riots.
Mostly peaceful riots. Okay. But does it acknowledge other aspects?
Yes. Crucially, the source does note that the definition also includes Antifa using tactics like digital activism, doxing, harassment, physical violence, and property damage.
So what's the point the source is making?
It's highlighting what it sees as an inconsistency or bias in the label. It questions the neutrality, suggesting one group gets harsher, more definitive labels than the other, despite both having violence or damaging actions mentioned in their description.
Got it. Again, we're just relaying the source's argument here, not endorsing it. But it uses this comparison to make a larger point about what media literacy.
Exactly. Discernment. It ties it all back to the listener, to you. The advice is basically discern where your messages are coming from, who you're listening to, and why.
Be critical of your sources.
Be critical. And look beyond labels or media narratives. The source emphasizes that character shows through action.
So don't just rely on the mass media propaganda machine or scandal and tabloid stuff, as the source puts it.
Right. You have to see it, to peep it for myself. Look at what people do, not just what's said about them or what they say. It's about observing actions over time.
Okay, so wrapping this up. We've journeyed through a really specific, critical narrative about Candace Owens.
Yeah, covering alleged ideological shifts, key career moments, and these pretty serious claims about how she handles alliance. Loyalty and character are definitely central theme in this source's evaluation.
It urges a deeper look, doesn't it, beyond the surface?
It really does.
Which leaves us, and you, the listener, with something to think about, right?
Definitely.
In this age where everything feels curated, where public figures have carefully managed personas and information is overwhelming. How do we actually figure out someone's core values, especially when their story involves big changes or conflicting accounts like the ones presented here?
Yeah. And how much weight do you give to these personal stories, these anecdotes from people like Loomer, or the claims about McInnes versus the broader public image or the official labels from media or other sources?
It's tricky. How do you form your own informed view when the information itself is so contested?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Something to definitely chew on.